Across the Blue Mountains by Emma Chichester Clark. Miss Bilberry lived in a pale yellow house at the base of the great Blue Mountains with a dog named Cecile, a cat called Chester, and two birds called Chitty and Chatty. Every morning Miss Bilberry had breakfast in the shade of a broad level tree, looking out at her beautiful view of the mountains. After breakfast she swept the path and fed the birds and animals. She watered the flowers and vegetables growing in her garden. Then she had a light lunch on the veranda. In the afternoon, she had a nap in her hammock between two swaying palms, and sometimes in the evening she played her violin and sang a few songs before she went to bed. It was a lovely life, and Miss Bilberry would have been completely happy except for one thing. She just couldn't stop wondering whether she might not be even happier if she lived on the other side of the mountains. The more she looked, the more she wondered. One day Miss Bilberry could stand it no longer. "Everybody up," she called to Cecile, Chester, and Chitty and Chatty. "Today's the day. We're going to move. Let's start packing." Not wanting to be left behind, they all helped fill boxes, baskets, and bags and put everything from the little yellow house onto a wobbly old cart. Then they waved goodbye to the house and the garden, the broad level tree and the two swaying palms, and set off toward the Blue Mountains. "I just can't wait to get to the other side," cried Miss Bilberry, but Chester looked back sadly. They walked and walked, pushing the heavy cart for many miles, through fields and forests, through rain and sunshine, uphill and downhill. They reached a place where the flowers were taller than Miss Bilberry. They could hardly see where they were going. "This is the wrong way," snarled Chester. "No, it isn't," snapped Cecile. Miss Bilberry climbed a tree, but she still wasn't sure where they were. "Told you so," said Chester. "Everything is going to be fine when we get to the other side," said Miss Bilberry. On and on they went. Chester grumbled. Cecile moaned, but Miss Bilberry just kept going. Chitty and Chatty tried to help by flying ahead. "They're hopeless," snarled Chester. But soon Chitty and Chatty returned. "We found a lovely house," they cried, "with trees and flowers. Follow us." And there it was. "Oh my," gasped Miss Bilberry. "It's perfection. It's just as I thought it would be." "Thank goodness for that," sighed Chester. Chester and Cecile ran the rest of the way. When Miss Bilberry caught up, they all unpacked the boxes and emptied the bags. In between loads, Chester sniffed the air. "It's strange," he thought, "but I feel as if I've been here before." Miss Bilberry was so tired that she slept all afternoon in her hammock, which she strung between two swaying palms, exactly as before. Then she made a stew from the vegetables growing in the garden, and then they all began to feel better. Each morning, when the sun shone in her window, Miss Bilberry leapt out of bed. Her life seemed better than ever. Her breakfast seemed more delicious, and the mountains seemed more beautiful. It was a lovely life, and she was happy. But there was some things that bothered Miss Bilberry. She didn't say anything, but she just couldn't stop wondering. It seemed to her that even though they had traveled a very long way, everything was much the same, even the mountains, which should really have been at the back of the house, were still in the front. It was a mystery to Miss Bilberry, and she sometimes worried about it. Chester, the clever cat, smiled to himself. He knew the answer, but he would never tell Miss Bilberry. He liked their quiet in the pale yellow house with its broad-leaved tree, its just two its two swaying palms, and its cool veranda. Number 6. Read the paragraph. Each morning when the sun shone in the window, Miss Bilberry leapt out of bed. Her life seemed better than ever. Her breakfast seemed more delicious, and the mountains seemed more beautiful. Why does the author use the phrase leapt out of bed to describe Miss Bilberry? A. Because she was an excellent runner and jumper. B. Because sun shining through her window woke her up. C. Because she was so happy with her life in the new house. D. Because she wanted to see what was wrong with her new house. Number 7. What is the theme of the story? A. Teamwork means noticing everybody's special talents. B. If you have something great, don't try to seek something even better. C. If you make all the decisions by yourself, other people will be upset. D. To show support, loyal friends follow their friends wherever they go. 8. What kind of animal is Chester? A. Dog. B. Cat. C. Bird. D. Fish. Number 9. Which of the following words or phrases does not describe Miss Bilberry? A. Lonely. B. Peaceful. C. Curious. D. Mostly happy. Number 10. What happens when Miss Bilberry and her animals get lost in the tall flowers? A. Her animals learn that Miss Bilberry is a good tree climber. B. They get confused about which way they are traveling. C. They argue with Miss Bilberry about which way to go. D. They decide to turn around and go back to their home.